Welcome back to GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Monday, April 28th, if you are just tuning in. We just finished going over why Shedeur Sanders fell all the way down to pick 144 in the fifth round of the NFL Draft. In this segment, we turn our attention to basketball. The first round is halfway done at this point. One series is over, another series about to be over. We'll talk about everything going on in the NBA playoffs coming up in just a second. But before we do, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you're on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Monday, April 28th. But like I was saying, we are going to get into everything that you need to know for the NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs, of course, did not stop like the rest of the world did for the NFL draft. Let's give you an update in the action that's going on right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers are putting on the finishing touches on a potential sweep, currently up by 39 points at halftime to the Miami Heat, 72-33. They win this game, they sweep this series, the second one seed to move on. This one just about all done. I would be shocked if there was a comeback. It would break the record that was just set by the Thunder for the largest halftime comeback in NBA history. NBA playoff history, I should say. So I'm ready to call this one a game. Congratulations to the Cleveland Cavaliers for advancing to the second round of the NBA playoffs for the second straight year at this point. They're having an amazing season. But outside of that, there is plenty of action in the NBA that is actually worthy of being talked about. And we'll start off with the biggest market. The Los Angeles Lakers. They are down 3-1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves after choking in yet another game away in the fourth quarter. You want to talk about why this series is at 3-1 in favor of the Timberwolves? You can talk about it for a myriad of reasons. You can say the big three for the Lakers has not been super cohesive. LeBron James hasn't played his best series. Luka Doncic is doing his thing. He got the stomach bug in one game. Outside of that, he's been amazing. Austin Reeves hasn't really been stepping up. The Lakers' depth hasn't been there. Dalton Knecht is not getting in the game. They don't have the defense to deal with Julius Randle with their small ball lineup. There's a lot of reasons why, but the main reason why this Lakers team is losing these games is because they cannot make a shot down the stretch. This is a Lakers team that has yet to score more than 20 points in the fourth quarter. This is a Lakers team that through 4 games has scored 20, 19, 19, and 13 in the fourth quarter. This is not how you close out games. A lot of times I say basketball, when you're watching a basketball game, the only thing that matters is the last 5 minutes. If you're within 10 points in the last 5 minutes, you've always got a shot, because basketball is a game of runs. It always has been a game of runs, and nothing is going to change that. But with the Lakers being unable to make a basket in the fourth quarter, they are taking all of their potential to win these games and just throwing it out the window. They have been leading or within 2 points in 3 of these 4 games. They have lost 3 of these 4 games. The only game that this wasn't the case was when they were getting blown out in the first game. This is just a mess by the Lakers. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if the players are tired, if LeBron James can't be a closer right now. I don't know what's going on, but either way, they need to figure it out quickly, because this is going to be a real tough deficit to claw out of. The Timberwolves, I will give them their credit. Anthony Edwards playing amazing. He is outdueling Luka Doncic at just about every single occasion. Julius Randle is having a great series. They're going after Luka on the defensive side of the ball. That's the reason why he was traded away. It's a little bit concerning, but also he's not the reason why they're losing these games. He's dropping nearly 40 every single night. He has been an absolute flamethrower for this Lakers team. This is a Lakers team that most likely is not going to win this series. They need to go out and get a center, right? I've seen a lot of online discussion about how this series would have been different if they had Mark Williams. I don't know how different it would be, but I think it would be a little closer. Having some rim protection, having a guy that can match up against your Goberts and your Julius Randle rather than going to that small ball lineup all the time and having a guy like LeBron at center. It's just not working the way that they want it to. They need to switch some stuff now. Get Jackson Hayes a little bit more involved, maybe, although maybe that won't do anything either. It's kind of desperation time for the Lakers. They've got their backs against the wall. They need just one. They need to sweep the rest of the series. Down 3-1. They need to figure this out. The other big news in the NBA, Damian Lillard. This one, not great news. Damian Lillard has suffered a torn Achilles, confirmed today by Chris Haynes and Shams Charania. The Bucks also fall 3-1 early in the first quarter. Dame goes down with a non-contact injury, making a cut to go and get an offensive rebound. He goes down on the court. It's no good. Damian Lillard, this is not just an issue for this postseason. This Achilles tear is most likely going to keep him out for all of next season. And that one opens up a whole nother can of worms because the Pacers are going to win this series. They were just too balanced of an attack, and despite Giannis being potentially the best player this postseason so far overall, not just in this series, but overall, the Pacers just have too many weapons. Giannis can only shut down so many people. He can only do so much on his own. The Pacers had 8 people in double figures in their last game. They're a very balanced team. Tyrese Halliburton, while he's an engine, doesn't have to be the main offensive scoring engine. He also has amazing, he's also huge in that passing game, getting more creation out of him is exactly what this Pacers team needed. They're really good this year. But Damian Lillard, this goes a little deeper than just this playoff series because the issue with Dame is there have been rumors of a potential Giannis wanting out of the Milwaukee Bucks. And Damian Lillard did the right thing, the quote-unquote right thing, right? By staying with the Portland Trail Blazers for basically his entire prime. He stays with them. They don't get anything around him. They make a couple deep runs in the playoffs, but outside of that, just about nothing. They sell the team. They sell Dame. Dame is out of there. He joins Giannis, and that pairing just has not worked out yet, right? Whether that's because of injuries or defensive concerns, but now Giannis wants potentially out of Milwaukee. And if you put Dame back in that situation he was in Portland and coming off of an Achilles, it just doesn't work for him. Damian Lillard is a very special basketball player. He's past his prime. He's not quite the same leader that he was, or the same kind of basketball player, I should say, as he was back when he was in Portland. But that doesn't mean that this Bucks team can't be good, right? If you put him and Giannis and make a bunch of great defenders around them, bunch of 3-and-D kind of guys, that is exactly how you want to build this team. Instead, they bring in Kyle Kuzma, all offense, no defense. They move off of Chris Middleton, who 3-and-D guy, exactly the guy that you want despite his struggles. That's the kind of guy that you need for this team. Even though he's been injured, this is just a brutal loss for the Bucks. It's brutal for Dame because I don't know if he's ever going to get a real chance at a title ever, period. Not just ever again, ever, especially with the potential that Giannis moves off next season. He doesn't seem too happy with the lack of winning in Milwaukee. That's just a brutal one. The Pacers should move on over there. The Knicks-Pistons game also goes to 3-1 in favor of the New York Knicks after a really controversial call. Tim Hardaway Jr. had the ball off of a missed Cade Cunningham floater, got kicked out to him in the corner, and there was a foul. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, say, oh, there was a potential foul. There was a foul here. They called no foul. It was a 1-point game, and then the clock runs out. Tim Hardaway Jr. jumps. He did draw that contact, right? He pump faked and then jumped into the contact, but that has been called a foul all series long. There was a whole set of debates around whether or not Jalen Brunson should be allowed to celebrate baiting a foul. That was something that Tim Hardaway Jr. did. He got the defender off his feet. He drew a foul in a 1-point game. Would have been 3 free throws. Should have been 3 free throws. And now instead, Cade Cunningham and the Pistons haven't won a home playoff game since 2008. They snapped in their one win a 15-game losing streak in the playoffs, which was the longest in the history of the NBA. But now they can't win a game at home. Cat and Brunson are both amazing, right? Cat makes a couple of huge shots down the stretch in Game 4, but really that Tim Hardaway Jr. foul not being called kind of sunk their season. It's a lot different going back to the Garden tied at 2 than it is 3-1. And it's just real tough for this young Pistons team. I think this Pistons team will be back. They have a superstar in Cade. This is their first season under coach JB Bickerstaff. They got a lot of good pieces, and they can only really get better from here. But that is a brutal way for their season to basically fizzle out. They've got one more game. So they've got one more game for their bubble, I should say. The Knicks probably win this game in 5 or 6, but that's just a brutal way for this series to go. The Magic, they've kept the games close. We've seen Jason Tatum not be his greatest after dealing with a little bit of that injury on his wrist. Still 3-1 at this point. That series also just about over. We talked about the Cavs and the Heat that game. That series also over. The Thunder have completed the sweep, the first team to move on in this round. They had a bunch of firsts. They're the youngest team in NBA history to make it this far in the playoffs. They've now swept. They have the largest blowout win in NBA playoff history. They have the largest halftime comeback in NBA playoff history. The Thunder just absolute dominance over the Grizzlies. Although the Grizzlies did start to figure them out down the stretch. Of course, no John Morant definitely hurts, but Scottie Pippen Jr. He had an amazing series. He really did. I was really impressed by what he did, stepping up when they needed him to. He's done that all season, but now they go into an off season where they don't have a coach. They don't really have a kind of direction to go in. This is a really important offseason for the Grizzlies to see if they blow it up or try and get back on top like they were just a couple of seasons ago. And the final two series I want to talk about here, the last two on my list, the Clippers. That series has been amazing. That series is tied at 2 right now. Aaron Gordon with a putback dunk off of missed Jokic 3 with literally milliseconds to go in the game saves the Nuggets from an all-time collapse. Entering that fourth quarter of game 4, the Nuggets had a 20-point lead. A 20-point lead entering the fourth quarter. The Clippers simply switched to zone defense. The Nuggets had no answers for that. They turned the ball over consistently. The Clippers went on a shooting spree where they just could not miss. They tie this game. They take the lead on a tip-in from Yusuf Nurkic. Ivica Zubac. Apologies. This is a very good Clippers team. These two teams going back and forth, and a buzzer beater from Aaron Gordon ties this series up, heading back to Denver. That is a massive, massive play from him. That's exactly what we were waiting on. Outside of that, the Warriors took Game 3 without Jimmy Butler. Game 4 is tonight. Jimmy Butler expected to play. He, of course, took that hard fall after colliding midair with Amen Thompson. That's just not a good look for either of them. Obviously, glad that Jimmy Butler is back and healthy, but you'd love to see him available 100%. Now, Steph was able to help the Warriors pull away in Game 3, take a 2-1 lead. Now they finish up the series in Golden State, or finish off the set in Golden State before going back tonight. I think even with Jimmy Butler back in the lineup, I think this is one where we see Jalen Green and this Rockets squad even it up back at 2 games apiece before going back home. Jimmy Butler, I don't think is at 100%, despite him being expected to play tonight, but it should be a really good game when the Warriors take on the Rockets tonight in Oracle Arena. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the NBA playoffs? What's going on right now with all of them? I'd love to hear what you think. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we finish off our show with the other playoffs going on, the NHL playoffs. The Western Conference completely tied at 2. The Eastern Conference, a little bit more of those series not quite going the distance. But we'll talk about all of that and more coming up next here on GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast.